Hey guys, it's Mark, and I was going to make a video about my tomatoes, but I just figure I'm gonna do the whole small balcony update tour and just go through all my herbs, plants, anything I got growing over here. Here I have a little table when I keep my herbs and like kind of little experimental projects there growing. Here I got my peppers, which I'm facing west here in South Florida, Miami. When the sun comes out, past my building and start going to the west, I have to put my peppers, and I usually just put them right here by the wall under this table, and that just provides a little shade. Since if you just put those plants into direct sun, the leaves just start curling, and I think it just put a lot of stress on the plant. So but I'm just gonna go over everything very quick. So here I got my herbs and my little experimental projects, my peppers, my aloe right there, and here I got my tomatoes. Okay, so first thing I think I'm gonna start with the update on the tomatoes. So as you can guys, for those who've seen the last video, this plant got some type of disease going on. I don't know, so some kind of viral or fungal disease, but I sprayed it with hydrogen peroxide, and I was able to save this plant. And it's been like maybe a week and a half, and those 4 tomatoes are still growing. I feel like the heat, it's been over 90 every day. I kind of slowed down the growth of those tomatoes. I mean, there's only 4. It's a very nutritious dirt that I have over there, so I'm not sure why they kind of stop on this level, but I'm just gonna let them sit there and do their thing and see if we can get them bigger and ripen and see what's happening. Unfortunately guys, the Brandywine tomato, oh no, I'm sorry, this is the same type of tomato. This one caught the disease and got hit very hard, much stronger. So what I did here, all right, I just cut the top, I sprayed the rest of the stem with the hydrogen peroxide, I let it sit, and I let those suckers to grow. And as you can see here, when I cut the leaves, those armpits right here, every single armpit has a new set of leaves. So I'm just gonna let it grow, see what happens. Never done this before, but I just did not feel like throwing away the whole plant away, spending so much time, 2 months of growing, and just it's kind of sad, but this is, I'm just testing here. And something I learned is just not here in South Florida, especially Miami. It's very hard to grow those things unless you buy some type of GMO hybrids that are specifically modified for this type of temperatures and this type of environment. You might have more like, these are heirloom tomatoes, and they're just not doing so well here. Next season I'm actually gonna start it. I'm gonna redo them again, but I'm gonna definitely start maybe December. Once it starts getting cooler, I'm gonna plant them and see if that helps a lot. The thing is about the heat, guys. Look at this one. Okay, so we got this one, got the disease first. I sprayed it, it's doing okay, but it's nothing else is growing. This one cut the disease the second. I cut it at the stem, it's producing some leaves here. And this one, and this is our Brandywine, I had some flowers, but the same thing, especially in the small balcony, those diseases spread very quickly, especially if it's very humid like it's here, and it's been raining past a few days. But so what I did here, the disease started catching the plant on the top. I cut the top off, and as you can guys see here, we are producing a lot of suckers here. Every single armpit has a new sucker, since all the energy is directed towards the bottom, towards the root system, which I'm pretty sure with this very small pod, the root system is pretty maxed out, but it's definitely all the energy is going into this new growth, which I notice growing from the seed. And when the plant is small, those leaves are very much thinner, and those new suckers are very thick and sturdy. So let's see what happens here. Okay, now here, this plant, I've been really trying to keep it away in the left corner of my balcony, and I was able to prevent this plant from getting disease. Now the only problem we have, guys, even with the self-pollination, I've been trying to pollinate all those flowers that we have here, and unfortunately only 1 tomato came out. Okay, very nice big healthy tomato. The problem again is tomatoes, if it's over 70 at night, it's, you know, hits 80s and 90s, those pollens inside the flowers supposedly get clogged up, and they would not get pollinated. If it gets too hot, the plant automatically is gonna start, you know, this is a great example here. You know, you're gonna see a little yellow color here, and it's gonna start dropping flowers. So I don't know why, how, but this is the only flower that get pollinated. So, you know, bottom line, guys, if you live South Florida, you know, do not try to grow tomato plants unless they are some type of hybrids for hot weather. Just do not try to grow them, you know, during the summertime, which is something I'm learning as we go. Like I said, again, December I'm gonna start doing again, and I'm gonna do the updates, see how those tomatoes do in much colder weather here. Here, for those who guys seen, I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit. For those who seen the video about the ants infestation I had in my Mayor lemon tree, I replanted the tree. I put a much bigger plant. I added a very nice organic fertilizer. And one thing I learned, this plant, citrus tree, especially this Mayor citrus tree, they do not like to be overwatered, okay? So I haven't really watered this plant, and I keep moving my bark to the side and checking the moisture, which I'll show you right here. And it's still pretty wet, okay? It's still pretty wet, and this plant doesn't really get a lot of rain because of the top right here. When it rains, it just gets a little bit, you know, sprinkle of some rain drops, but I haven't really watered this plant in maybe a month, and it's still moist, so I'm just not touching it. The first when I started growing this tree, my biggest mistake was overwatering it, and that was just killing it. As you can see here, the new growth, these are, you know, new leaves, and then we got older leaves, but everything is doing very nice, and it's a very healthy plant, which I'm very happy about. I'm gonna start buying more of my next one. I'm gonna buy navel oranges and maybe some other type of dwarf, semi-dwarf fruit trees. So I'm happy I learned how to grow my lemon trees based on my mistakes I made before. So we got tomatoes here, and now let's jump into peppers, guys. You know, this is the first season, the first time ever I tried to grow my peppers. Here what we have, it's a cayenne pepper. This is the same one, and this is a fully organic from seed. And this is probably, I could probably go back to the video and tell you how old is this plant, but I'm assuming approximately 2 months old. And it's very nice, very healthy. What I did here, I'm gonna show you, I topped the top. It was just getting too tall and very leggy. It was, you know, I put the support here, put the stick next to it just to kind of support it, but I decided to cut it. And as you can see here, now the stem is much stronger, and you know, that just generates more tops, which eventually gonna produce more flowers and more fruit at the same time. And you know, growing them on the balcony in the smaller pots, I'm not trying to grow them tall. I'm gonna try to grow them you know, short and bushy, okay? So these are doing very nice, amazing. Like I said, the only thing is sun. It's a very big enemy. The same thing with the peppers. The flowers do not like the heat, so I'm not sure. I'm just gonna wait for the flowers to come out and see how they do, you know, with the heat, if they're gonna start dropping flowers, or you know, hopefully we don't get any flowers till maybe the end of the summer, if that's possible. I'm not sure how quick they produce the flowers, but you know, I'll give you guys update once they, you know, produce some flowers here. So here we have our cayenne pepper. I think they're called Ring of Fire. Very nice plant, very healthy. I'm also not overwatering these. I'm letting these dry out. I'm basically keep an eye on the leaves, and once the leaves, you know, start, you know, getting wrinkle or kind of droppy, then I go ahead and you know, put some water here. So these are from the seed. Okay, here what I have is this one is Tabasco. Okay, this is Tabasco plant, and this one, guys, it's just straight from Home Depot. This is not organic, definitely not organic. I just purchased it because I figure, you know, it's just way too late to, you know, grow from the seed. So I just went to Home Depot and purchased this plant, and as you can guys see here, a lot of tops, new tops are growing, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know, which we will give you much more flowers and much more fruit. Okay, so this is our Tabasco pepper, and here I have my hot jalapeno, which this leaves been kind of droppy. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe just the plant was, you know, I mean, it was healthy when I purchased it. I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully it gets some more strength, and you know, I mean, it's healthy plant. I'm not gonna say it's not unhealthy plant, but I just like it perfect. You know, I like it with every single leaves is a perfect and nice and strong and sturdy. And these are kind of droppy. I'm not sure if it's maybe heat related, but you know, just keep an eye on it. This is the first time I'm growing it. And I also made a cut right here, and as you can see here, the new branches are coming out from almost every single armpit. Okay, and this one right here, unfortunately yesterday we had some wind, and there was try to zoom in here, there was two new growth, and here on the very top one just broke off. Okay, but you know, but I'm very happy, guys. I'm very happy about these. The next one, guys, mango from seed. Something is hitting it. I'm not sure if it's, you know, direct sun, but I had this problem before I made a cut right here, and then those two new branches came out. The plant was very healthy, but I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe this is just not, this plant, you know, it's not intended to be grown in this small pot right here. But I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, and if the problem continues, then I'm just gonna have to give it away to someone and just plant it in the ground. Okay, there's some flowers, Christmas flowers right there. This is just an empty pot, and here I got my herbs, guys. I got my basil. It's from the big box store. I didn't grow this one from the seed. I had some seeds in this pot. Unfortunately, they grew maybe to like 1 inch and they just stopped growing. I'm not sure what was going on, but I'm gonna have to try again. The last season when I grew my basil from seeds, it was fantastic result. It grew very tall, very bushy, and just keep growing. This is something I found in Home Depot, and this is something called lemon thyme, and it smells like, my kids say it smells like Fruit Loops. And it actually does. It's a very nice scent. If you're cooking, you know, this is something I add, you know, in combination with thyme, which I don't have thyme here at this moment, but I like to add to my mushrooms and different type of dishes. It works pretty much with everything. Chicken, beef probably not, maybe fish, but I like to add it with some, you know, heavy cream, and very nice scent, very nice type of flavor, guys. So, and you don't see those in the stores very often. This is the only one I was able to find. I'm not sure if they sold out pretty quick, but it's doing fantastic, you know. And these three plants get some sun. Here next we're gonna go to avocado seeds, and my orchids, they do not get sun because I don't want orchids to get sun. So these get pretty decent amount of sun. Basil doing okay, thyme is doing amazing in the direct sun. And here my son won mint. You know, we use it for drinks, and the kids will use for ice cream and their lemonade. And when we purchased it, it wasn't doing very well, but as you can guys see here, very nice growth. You got a lot of new leaves coming out, and we made a lot of cuts. We used a lot of it, and it's doing very, very good. Okay, so I strongly recommend mint and thyme in the direct sun if you live here in South Florida. Here, guys, I don't know if you guys know what it is, but this is basically a Hass avocado seed. You know, you take from inside avocado, you make those two, you know, you just put some two type of, you know, support, these are actually sushi, what do you call those things, chopsticks, right? Chopsticks, yeah, chopsticks. So I cut them in half, and I just made a little, I pushed it to the sides just to hold it. And what you do, you fill the cup in the water. One thing, guys, do not change the water. Just add some water, maybe some rainwater is very good for it. And the water is gonna get very very dark and very ugly looking, but as the roots come out, which you can guys see right here, it's gonna pretty much, I believe, the roots clarifying water, so the water is gonna become crystal clear. But just do not change them, do not add any type of water unless you have maybe rainwater. Just let it be, okay? Let it sit here for a month or so, and then eventually it's gonna sprout some roots right here, and then you can see little leaves, which eventually is going to come here from the top, and then you are going to be able to put in the ground. And the same thing like we did with the mango seed, the same type of concept. You let it sit. The thing is, mango seed you put directly in the soil, and avocado, a lot of people do it this way. Just put it in the water, let it sit halfway, and as you can see here, I'm not sure if you guys are able to see, but there's some leaves coming out and a nice stem. And this one actually have 4 different roots, so it's growing. Here, for those who watch the videos, when I went to the box store and purchased pretty much dead orchids, the root system died. I made some changes, guys. I used the peat, 100% peat, and I'm sorry, 90% peat and some bark before in those jars right here. They don't have any holes, but that basically created more problem when the root system was basically becoming rotten, and the plant wasn't doing that well. And guys, this is something I'm just learning. All right, I never grew orchids in my life. We always got it, my wife always got it, and we pretty much died next month and we just threw it away. But this is, I'm just learning. And here, what I learned from growing these in those pots, I do not really water them. I do water them, kind of soak them in the whole jar, maybe once every 2 weeks. Let it sit for 10-20 minutes, and I use fertilizer. I mix it with the fertilizer for orchids, and I let it sit for 10-20 minutes, and then I drain whole water. Okay, one thing, guys, what I noticed here in South Florida, Miami, is this time, which is June, it's very humid. When I look at my weather app, it's pretty much 80-90% of humidity, and you're gonna notice that if you plant them in the bark, especially if you keep them outside in the shade, the bark won't really dry that quick. You don't have to water those plants that often if you live in the very humid environment like I do. And this plant's been doing very good. I cut the bottom leaves. They were very yellow and just ugly looking, and it really bothered me. The problem is all the roots are pretty dead, but as you can see here, there's small root coming out from this side, and there you go, and there's another one coming out from this side. So hopefully this plant might survive. It's creating some roots. There's 2 new leaves growing, which is very typical for summertime. Once it cools down, that's where this plant produces flower spikes. It basically feels that the temperatures drop, and it's gonna create some flower spikes. Guys, this plant, again, leaf beautiful. There was 2 leaves on the bottom. They were super ugly, just really bothered me, so I cut them off. Some people do not recommend cutting the leaves off. I did, and as you can see here, there's roots growing everywhere from each side. And I want to show you something. Hopefully I can capture here on my phone. And I love those tall glass. The root systems are, they just growing like crazy. Look at all this new roots spiking out. And here what I do, I just put a little bit tiny, a layer, like a ring of moss in between, and I put more bark on the bottom, and I keep an eye on it. If it's dark, like this one is pretty much dried out, then we get some moisture here, and then on the bottom it keeps a lot of moisture. So once the root system grows in the bottom, it's gonna be able to get some nutrients and water from the bottom of the pot. So guys, if you live in Florida, one thing, do not water them too often. Just place them in the bark even by itself, and just keep an eye on the bark. If it's really dark color on the bottom, just let it be. I'm sure the plant's getting a lot of moisture just from the environment. And the last one right here, guys, this one actually, there's 2 new leaves coming out, guys, but the problem is there's one really root right here is trying to spike out from the side of the plant. But the same type of mistake I made, it was 100% in the peat moss when I bought it, purchased it. I was very rookie about those plants and type of environment that we live in, and it just didn't work out for this particular plant. Hopefully it survives, guys. I'm definitely gonna keep you updated. So guys, that's all I got here growing. Definitely gonna add some more peppers, and definitely gonna work on my tomatoes, and I'm definitely gonna get more citrus trees. So guys, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.